What's up, everybody? So this is kind of a continuation of the type of setup swing retest entries, but I wanted to cover a couple to the upside, a couple to the downside. So I'm going to post a couple of these in videos and a couple of these in text format. So hopefully you guys like the mix. But let's just jump into this. So basically on CARR, it was this day when I was looking at it. It had already broken out, so it's not like I could be like, all right, guys, get in. This would have been a good initial entry, yes. But how could you have held this, or how could you have waited to get a better entry or a new entry? I should say, not better, just new entry, new opportunity. Both of these are equally good opportunity. But basically, what we were looking at here on CAR was we had kind of this was the last added trend line here. But what we had was the recent resistance. What else? We had our emerging candles here from the left here, and then we had our rising volume close over the 9. So this is why we were looking at it. This is why I posted it in the chat. And most of these examples you'll see posted in this channel are going to be trades we've actually taken in the chat. 90 to 95% of these examples will be. There'll be maybe 2 or 3 charts where we didn't actually trade them to the T. They were just really good examples I wanted to display. But most of these are actually traded examples. CAR was actually posted. A few people in chat, like VKK especially. He's first person off the top of my head that actually did trade this. But what was the reasoning for why we like to hold it though? So price ended up pushing up above our 9, so this gave us reason to like it. Gave us that breakout above that kind of just downtrend we had there, that little angle. And then you had returning price to the 9 EMA with lowering volume. Volume is your teller there to show you the retest, okay? So big thing to tell you end of day, you would want to wait end of day here or whatever next day to see if it holds over 50% of this candle. Why? Why are you looking at this candle? Because this is the candle that gave you the whole reason to even look at this chart. This is what gave you reasoning. So you can add your control point, which most of you should know how to add by now on your own. You should not need help to add that by now. But you can see it actually held the 9 EMA on its low, and then on the meat of the bone it actually held the control point, this 54.19, 54.20 area. Price the next day ends up gapping up. What candle is this? This is a bullish kicker. How do I know that? Because it started entirely over the meat of the bone of the previous day candle. Red candle closes right here. Price started up here. That's a bullish kicker. It got kicked up. Very, very good sign for bulls stepping in, and it had rising volume. Next day, reset candle. Now, it did have a good rise in sellers, but that shouldn't scare you because what did it not break? The control point. A very, very good level. Next day, you get rising volume again into the buyers, and they're taking it higher. Lowering volume again, you get another reset candle day, and what are they holding? 50% of that candle. Why are you looking at this why are you looking at this control point now? Because this is now the new candle you have to look at. This broke a new high. So this is now the new gained ground. This is where I want to mark. So I want to go from here to here, see the control point, and if that holds with a good lowering volume red day, or even low vol blue day, awesome, even better. But the next 2 days, rising volume, and they push through what levels? They don't just push through randomness. They push through an emerging candle here, here, and almost reached that 58.30 that was almost the all-time high candle. So you can see, very, very good retest entry. Let's look at the next example. The next example is Etsy. So Etsy posted this in chat as well. We did this kind of as like a fun question, kind of chart for the chat, like what candle is this? And a lot of people said different answers, but the right answers were an inside candle or a bullish harami. Either way, I wanted to show people why we were interested in this. Anytime you see an inside candle, it's a very, very good trade to watch for potential plays going forward, because when it exits this range right here, you can look for an open range breakout for day trades. For swing trades, which is what I'm talking about, what did price have after it broke this new high right here? What did price have as it returned back to the 9 EMA and kind of this breakout range? Because this is kind of where price kind of broke out, was about this area here. You can see that's where it returned to. Why did it go to that level? What did it go to this level with? Lowering volume. If you can see, lowering price, lowering volume. Very, very good. Bullish candle pops up. You get a little bit of bullish volume, low volume, of course. Next day is rising. It does pop the new high. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. It pops the new high with rising volume. It's a good sign that buyers are trying to accumulate. Next day may reset. Next day may fly. Next day was a reset candle. You can see, just like on those red candles, where they have a low red day, you had a low blue day. So that's kind of what I was saying on that other chart. You might sometimes have a low blue day. But next candle pushes up. What do you have? Rising volume. Very, very good sign that you can start pushing out if you were in a trade from here or down here. Either way, very good time to take profits. Anytime you see a gap up after you've seen multiple entry points like this, kind of like right here, it's a very good sign to be out of that position, because this is showing, all right, this might slow down soon. You might see this return back to 276 before it starts doing another rip. It needs another one of these moves again. It's already done this. Now it needs one of these. Let's go to the next example. Coinbase. This is probably one of my favorite ones. So coin, and these are retests that I'm talking about right now. But what do you have here? After price broke back up above the 9 with rising volume, so we have a reasoning to look at this. Price held about the control point of this breakout up, and then what are we looking for? So for what I was talking about in this video is retest entries, right? You want to see the bounce back towards, right? But what can you do if you're someone who's not confident enough in taking this trade here? You don't like taking this candle or this candle or this. You don't like holding too many days where you don't like seeing your position go up and down, red, green. You can wait for the passive 80% entry. So the retest has already happened. The breakout happened, the retest happened, rising volume close over the new high. This is the most passive entry you can take. I have very, very, very high confidence in trades that do this. You can see the next day gapped up, next day gapped down, gapped up, gapped up. So very, very bullish price action as it was after it did that. So very, very good entry points if you guys like those. Limit yourself to those. Seriously, these are probably the strongest entry points, are after they've already broken out, after they've already retested very well, and after they've made a new high. This is the best entry point. It's the most passive, I should say. Aggressive, of course, is when we first get in above the 9 right here. Not as aggressive but not as passive entry point as this would be the retest, and then this would be your most passive. So I'm trying to cover all the different little entry points here. And then the last one would be Facebook. Facebook, this was a recent call out, and also a really good example because it shows this high right here. It shows we still have a good level to watch for calls above. So if this gaps up above next week, I'm taking calls pretty much at the open next week, throughout the day, throughout previous day high, throughout my pre-market high, throughout all the recent price action. But what do we have here? We have 1, 2, 3 higher lows. Very, very good sign for bullish trend. So, but what do we have each time this returns? On these two candles, what do we have? Lowering volume. On these few candles here, what do we have returning back? Now, we don't have lowering, but this is still a good topic because I wanted to cover this. It has rising, but it's actually still not that strong, because what is it still under? It's still under my average volume right here. So it's really not that amazing volume. If it had popped up like this and been rising, okay, that'd be a different story. But actually, as it held, it had lowering right here. Pushing up, it had rising, a good sign. Gap up, that's our new recent resistance. Price returns, we entered our calls on this day. Price pushed up, we took most of our profits as it pushed through that 350. I think it was like 10:30 or 11 when I posted that, maybe even closer to noon. But either way, really good retest entry point right there for the swing. What can we look out for new opportunity? What's a good future breakout? 347, 347.65. This is a good future breakout for calls, for day trading or swing trading. It doesn't matter. But I wanted to point this out in this video, the different retests, what we look for in here. If you're entering trades outside of anything in this video or anything in this channel, then you're just hurting yourself. You need to be limiting yourself to certain types of plays that you are more accustomed to, plays that you're more comfortable with. So I'll see you guys in the next video, but hopefully you guys like this one.